Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How is everyone? Let's talk about these elections. So, I wanted to talk about Charlie Crist. Did you guys see the debate with Marco Rubio, Stacey Abrams? It's a lot to get into. We're going to be discussing this. So, please comment. Please share this video, share it out. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page. And yes, so let's get into it. So I was scrolling around on the Googler and I came across Charlie Crist. I was really curious on what he thought about the education issue and where he stood on school choice. It looks like back in the day, when he was a Republican, well, he's been everything. So he's been a Republican, he's been an independent, and now he's a Democrat. So I don't know. We'll see what he chooses to be. I don't know however he, whichever way the wind blows. But I don't know. To me, obviously, many of you know my story. I was a Democrat, and now I am a Republican, conservative Republican, Christian conservative Republican. I guess, we all have to have all these titles and everything. But, many of us, we have changed because, your eyes get, you wake up, you start to change. But this dude has been in this game for a long time. And to me, that kind of says that, do you really know where you stand? Do you really know where you stand? And do you stand on anything? And I think that's part of the problem these days, that people don't really stand on anything. It's basically like whatever the wind blows, whatever I think, the political winds are telling me to blow, that's where I'll go. That's a bar. I just rhymed. Anyway. So I was Googling him and seeing where he stood. And when he was a Republican, he was all for school choice. And then it looks like back in 2014, he flipped the script and was like, really, I didn't really believe that. I really didn't believe that. And so, I certainly do have a problem when it comes to these flip floppers on something as important as school choice. And so, I think he should have to answer for that. So him and his running mate, they both seem to not support school choice. I mean, she is adamant. She is like a teachers union's, dream child. She does not support school choice. So let's see what they are saying. So his running mate, Charlie Crist's running mate, she says, all these different systems of school or groups of schools are going to exist, and they've existed for a very long time. My position has and always been that we can't defund one to fund the other. That's what his running mate said. She also says that she reiterated a call, or this is what the article reads. She reiterated a call for accountability for the charter schools and private schools that accept state funding. Those schools haven't been subject to the same grading system as public schools and are allowed to discriminate against students who identify as LGBTQ, students with same-sex parents, and gay teachers. She said, first of all, you have to be really mindful of what that means. You have to be mindful of what that means. So, in other words, Charlie Crist and his running mate are for teaching young children about sex. That's what that means. They can prettify it, they can make it seem all nice and oh, it's discrimination. And, we don't have to teach children about these things at young ages. You don't. And children aren't ready to comprehend these things anyway. So why would we support someone who would parents have shown that we don't want our children to learn about these things. So if you have to just be careful of what these people are really saying, because essentially he would be going around what parents say and would be trying to remove these protections, remove the rights that parents have, and trying to push sexualization of any kind. Let's be clear, sexualization of any kind to young children. So it sounds good. Oh, they're trying to discriminate, and we don't want to discriminate. But that's not what this is. This is a push to push graphic material, to push inappropriate material onto young children. That's what it is. They can call it discrimination all they want, but everybody knows that that's not that is not the intent. Nobody wants to discriminate against people. We just don't want our children to learn about sex at early ages. They're not prepared for that. I mean, why is that so hard? And why all of a sudden now that has to be what determines what a good education is? Oh, we have to talk about sex in order for children to have a good education. Come on, let's be real. That is not what is going to best prepare kids for the next phases of life, especially when we are not performing, when our children are not proficient in their academics. If they are not proficient in their academics, which is what they're going to school to get an education, why are we pushing all this other stuff when they're not getting that? So it's just a way for people to push radical ideas more into our society. And I cannot wait for the debate. I believe it's on Monday, October 24th, with Governor DeSantis and Charlie Crist. It's going to be good. I will be watching, and I hope you guys will watch it too. I'm here for all of that. And so, yeah, that's absolutely insane. So let's talk about Stacey Abrams, the Stacey Abrams and Governor Kemp debate. So a few things with Stacey Abrams. And this happened. We're going to talk about Val Demings too. But this happened in both of their debates, and I just found it so interesting. So Stacey Abrams has, and the Democrats, they have just been going around, oh, if you are a Trump supporter, you're an election denier, and you don't believe you are ruining democracy and all this stuff. Well, Stacey has some election denying herself. Let's look at what Miss Stacey has said. Uh-oh, wait 1 second. Hold on. What is that? Hold on, everybody. Wait 1 second. Let's see. Where is this? Okay, here we go.
but we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election.
Using the word rigged, using the word steal, do you think it's dangerous going into 2020?
I don't, because we can actually back it up.
And so in response to what I believe was a stolen election, and I'm not saying they stole it from me, they stole it from the voters of Georgia.
In fact, when outside asked if I'm ever getting to see, the answer is no.
This is not a speech of concession. Because concession means to acknowledge an action is right, true, or proper. And I will not concede because the erosion of our democracy is not right.
People like to make demand. Steal your election. It was not a free and fair election. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia. I believe it was stolen from the voters. Thousands of Georgians had their voices stolen because they were not able to cast ballots. And they cannot be guaranteed that their votes will be counted in 2020 if we don't do this right.
If what happens to you happens nationally, I mean, you see whoever wins the Democratic nominee, if they say, actually, I can prove that there's a number of votes in every state that the same thing that you just described happens in multiple states, should they concede?
I do not think we should concede an election until we know the results of an election.
I still fundamentally believe it could be fair. And that's just not how life works. If it looks like it's cheating, it probably is. If it looks like it's rigged, it probably is.
We've been raised to believe that it is invalid, in fact, it's uncouth to call a question. That if you want to run for office again, you've got to concede the election so that everyone knows you're a good sport. I'm not.
I said that the election was stolen from Georgia voters. The process that took place during the legislative cycle was one that did not countenance and did not pay attention to the deep and real concerns of those who watched this election be stolen in the state of Georgia.
It was stolen from the voters of Georgia.
As long as we have eligible American citizens who cannot cast a ballot, then the game is rigged. I am complicit if I say that that system is fair. Concession in the political space is an acknowledgement that the process was fair. And I don't believe that to be so. But I refuse to concede because concession means that the process was proper, that the result was true and right. And I cannot say that.
I tend to say I didn't lose, I just didn't win. And I don't call it a loss, I just didn't win. But
yes, you did.
Okay. Officially. Yeah. Officially. Put it this way, I didn't get to get inaugurated, and that's probably
okay. I was joking with Beth backstage when Cliff said, she lost. I'm like, no, I just didn't win. Because we don't know what really happened because of the miasma of voter suppression. I can't know for a fact that I would be the governor of Georgia, but for the malfeasance management of Brian, but I know it's a pretty good guess. So I can't prove that I would have won.
All right, you guys. So you've heard enough of that. So we all know that Stacey Abrams has been a fierce election denier, fierce. And apparently, when a Democrat denies an election, everything is fine. She's just fighting for what is right. She's fighting for the people. But if a conservative Republican wants to question, that's not okay. So there you have that. Here's what the more disturbing thing about that. Let me play this for you. What she said during the debate. Let's see. This is, let me show you guys this video. So I just want you guys to see what these people think.
The question of Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, Ms. Abrams, in 2018, you didn't concede defeat to Governor Kemp, and you talked to systemic problems with the state's election system. This election, do you commit to accept the outcome of the vote, regardless of what it shows? And do you stand by your use of words like rigged 4 years ago to describe the state's election system?
In 2018, I began my speech on November 16th, acknowledging that Governor Kemp had won the election. I then proceeded to lay out in grave detail the challenges faced by voters under his leadership as Secretary of State, including the 10+2 who were arrested in Quitman, Georgia, because they had the temerity to use absentee ballots. I told the story of students who were denied access to the right to vote, even though they had duly registered. 80,000 complaints had come in by that day, and it took 4 years of federal investigation in a lawsuit that was the longest running voting rights lawsuit in the state's history.
That she lost. She lost those lawsuits
In recent history that proved us right. Now, we didn't win every single claim, but we forced massive changes to the election laws. And unfortunately, Brian Kemp and Brad Ratzenberger have decided to restore their greatest hits. Just today, a homeless woman was denied the right to vote in Forsyth County because she did not receive a provisional ballot because she had been challenged. As governor, I intend to stand up for the right to vote. I will always acknowledge the outcome of elections, but I will never deny access to every voter, because that is the responsibility of every American to defend the right to vote.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, understand what they are actually saying to you. Understand what they're actually saying to you. Stacey Abrams, and I'm going to show you later with Val Demings as well, they always say, and especially in the Black community, Hispanic and Black minority communities, they will say that we are being denied the access to vote. I want you to ask yourself, do you know anybody who wanted to vote who could not vote? Ask yourself, do you know anybody who wanted to vote that could not vote because of some system that was preventing them to vote? Just ask them. And the bigger problem of that is what they're actually saying about Black people, Hispanic people, minority people. They are saying that you are incapable of doing one of the most basic functions in society, getting an ID and going to vote, because that's what they'll say. They'll say, oh, it's an ID thing, you can't vote. Don't you find that insulting that they are saying that, you have certain levels of melanin in your skin, that, higher levels of melanin prevent you from knowing how to go get an ID to vote? That should infuriate every single person who's voting. We have to stop being so triggered when they throw out, Black voter suppression and this. Think about it for a second. Why, if they are so concerned and if they think so highly of you, why would they say that you are incapable of doing a basic function in society, like getting an ID to go vote? That is insulting. And dang on near every single Democrat says that that is something that Black people, Hispanic people cannot do. They're saying that you don't know how to get an ID. Y'all, that should infuriate you. That is literally saying that you're stupid. That's what that is saying. They are saying that you are too stupid to go and know how to go and get an ID to vote. It's just a political tactic to get you fired up about race. But if you take a moment and you think about it, do you actually know a Black person, a Hispanic person who wanted to vote, who could legally vote, but could not that was blocked from voting? If you know this, please comment in the comment section. Let me know if you know anybody who is Black or Hispanic who could not get an ID and who was denied access to vote. I want to hear. I want to hear these, I want to see it. Because that is exactly what they try to tell Black people all the time. Basically, you're too stupid to know how to get an ID to vote. They try to dress it up and make it sound all nice, but that's what they're telling you. Anyway, Val Demings does the same thing. This is what Democrats actually think about Black people, actually think about Hispanic people. This is what they think. They just try to dress it up and make it sound all pretty. But the fact of the matter is, they don't think you're smart enough to know how to get an ID, to know how to go and vote. They just use this as a tactic against you. The other thing that Stacey said, this was not in the debate, This was on a panel that she was doing. Y'all, look at this. This is just, it's just disgusting. These people are crazy. She says that, look at this, watch this.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat in 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her. There is no such thing as a heartbeat in 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her.
This woman said there is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. That is just a manufactured sound used to have men control women's bodies. That is the most unhinged thing I have heard in a really long time. That a heartbeat, Bill, that there is no heartbeat at 6 weeks. And it's manufactured. So somehow the machine is just making this sound. It's just making it up. It's not even there. Greg says, I have never heard of or known any Black person who ever complained that they couldn't vote. Never, ever. Greg, neither have I. Neither have I. It's just foolish. It is absolutely foolishness. And it is insulting. Every Black person should be insulted by that. But it gets you all riled up in your emotions and you're not thinking about what they're actually saying to you. But back to this abortion thing, that a heartbeat is a manufactured sound. That should really terrify every American, that this woman who wants to run for office does not believe in science, does not believe that heartbeats are legitimate, that is the heartbeat of a human being. That should be a problem for people who believe. That should be a problem if you respect and honor the life of another human being. This woman is literally telling y'all that it's not even real. Do you know, if people start to believe something like that, do you know the atrocities that will come from people who don't see others as human beings? She goes on to say that abortion is a way to fight inflation. Let's look at this. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Not this one. It is, where is she? Here we go.
I would assume, maybe incorrectly, but while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What can a governor, what could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do.
Thank you very much. I report from DC. Right, PK?
Good. Y'all, this woman is unhinged. That is absolutely nuts. That is absolutely crazy. So basically, again, you have to really listen to what they're saying. They can try to dress it up and make it sound all nice, but really listen to what they are saying. She's basically saying that if you get pregnant, the financial responsibilities that you have from bringing a child into the world, if you think that you might not be able to fulfill those, even though we have so many government programs and systems that support women who financially cannot take care of their children, just kill it. If you're poor, kill your child. That is not even the sentiment that Blacks coming out of slavery had, who literally had nothing. They literally had nothing, but they did not resort to killing their children. In America, that was the worst time where people had literally nothing, and that still was not enough to make these people think, oh, you know what, we're not going to we're just gonna kill. We're just gonna, kill our children. That is still not, that is not, that was not the sentiment. And what we have allowed in this country with this radical just abortion has been crazy. And I'm grateful that, that Roe was overturned and that Dobbs decision. I'm grateful for that because I believe that has been an incredible stain on America, especially as a Judeo-Christian country. That has been incredible. America has been incredibly blessed. And that faith that got us through those hard times, we've just neglected. And now we have people who are running for office to literally run a state who are saying, well, if you can't, financially take care of your kid, just get rid of it. Even though we have all these programs that will help you. We have pregnancy centers that will help you. There are tons of ways to get support in America if you are financially struggling. And we have pastors, one who's a senator right now, Raphael Warnock, who is literally saying he's a pro-life pastor. These people are just, it's just out of control. And I do not know if you can't stand on that to say, okay, that's not right, especially if you are proclaiming to be a Christian. We got a problem. So Greg also says, my very dear friend Victoria, a Black woman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is so excited to go out and vote for Doug Mastriano and Dr. Oz. Both are Republicans, U.S. Awesome. So, and I think, Greg, that many Black people are starting to look side-eye the Democrat Party. Yeah, because they don't offer anything that is beneficial to a standard of life that you want. They want you completely and totally dependent on the government, literally. And this is in Charlie Crist's platform as well. He wants like pre-K, what was it? It was like a 3-year-old to be in a government school. 3. So it's just more dependency on the government, no responsibility for your own life, no accountability for your own life, just total dependency on the government. I don't understand. Actually, I understand why many Black people are starting to leave the Democrat Party, because the more access to information that we have, like the internet, and we can see what these people actually say, and we can go and read these bills. And as we get more involved and as we see what is really going on, you are going to continue to see the Blacks are leaving. We are done. This is not beneficial to your life. They don't support the nuclear family, which we know. That's awesome, Greg. Yes, you voted for Trump as well. That's what's up. We know that the nuclear family is one of the best ways to give you a head start in life. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your background is. A two-parent household is going to, it's not guaranteed, but it certainly does give you a better outcome in life than growing up in a single family home. That's just a fact. It is a fact. But Democrats, totally against that. They don't want that. But yet they claim that they just, black and brown people, we just love and care about you so much. No, it's a lie. They are against every single thing that will benefit you from being successful. Thank you, Rachel. They are against every single thing that will benefit you from being successful. Oh, if you promote hard work and accountability, being on time. Remember the Smithsonian put up that infographic saying, "Oh, that's white supremacy." They use race and racism to try to tell Black folks that doing what is right is white supremacy. Now, I've been Black all my life. And my father, who was a Black man, always told us to work hard. Now, I would venture to bet he was not a white supremacist. But he would be called one today because he taught his kids to work hard. They will probably call Frederick Douglass a white supremacist. They probably call Booker T. Washington a white supremacist. They would call anybody who wants to do what is right is now deemed white supremacy. Because this is the best way. Because when you are able to live your life on your terms and you realize you don't need to just lean on the government for every single thing, and that, you can America is a place where you can work your way out of poverty. America is a place where you can work your way into your dream, the dream that you want to have. That confidence and with that ability and with those opportunities comes less dependency on the government. And the less you depend on them, the more the Democrats understand that you do not need them, that you are completely capable of figuring out your own life by yourself. And God forbid that you do that. In their minds, at least, that's what they think. God forbid that you make the best decisions that's good for you. All right, everybody, let's get to Val and Marco. I mean, it's just like, they beat all to the same drum. So let's listen to what Val and Marco had to say.
Congresswoman Demings.
Senator, how gullible do you really think Florida voters are? Number one, you have been clear that you support no exceptions, even including rape and incest. Now, as a police detective who investigated cases of rape and incest, no, Senator, I don't think it's okay for a 10-year-old girl to be raped and have to carry the seed of her rapist. No, I don't think it's okay for you to make decisions for women and girls. As a senator, I think those decisions are made between the woman, her family, her doctor, and her faith. And to stand over there and say that I don't support abortions up to the time of birth is just a lie. But to help protect the life of the mother, which you looked at that like it was just, that's kind of a side issue. Senator, you know that you have said you don't support any exceptions.
Number one, the bill she's attacking me on has exceptions. It has exceptions. That's the bill right now. Number two, let's talk about extremes.
Again, They try to, first of all, she's lying. And I'm going to show you that she's lying in just 1 second, because I went and checked to see, because I'm a fact checker. You know, I want to see, okay, like what's going on here. I'm not one of these people that are easily swayed by just headlines and just, a little blip across the screen. I actually want to know what these people are talking about, both sides. I actually want to know. The Democrats are obsessed with abortion. It's a religion to them. You're right. You are absolutely, they are obsessed. They are truly obsessed. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. And the more we see them talk, the more it starts to come out. So what Marco Rubio said, he said, me personally, I am pro-life, and I do not believe I believe that every life is sacred. It is a gift from God. And I personally don't believe in those exceptions. However, the bills that I support are bills that do provide those exceptions. So what he's saying is two different things. Me personally, I can have my view on this. And he also said in the debate, I know that a bill, if it was up to me and if I was to present my bill, it would not pass. And that's not what the people want. So what you have to do as an elected official, you cannot just govern on exactly what your views are, because you represent multiple people. You represent most people. Most people do not believe in abortion up until, the moment of birth, and even until after. That is not what most Americans believe. And as a republic, we do have to there are those things where where you're trying to negotiate and get something passed where you can save more lives. You can save more of these children's lives. That is the goal. That is the goal. And I understand, because I am one of those people who does not believe I believe that every life is sacred. I don't believe that if your father is a bad person, that the child should have to pay the cost of death because your father is a bad person, being a rapist or a person that does incest. Because there are many stories that never get told about how those children who are given a chance at life, they go on to do great things. Kathy Barnett comes to mind. Another friend of mine, Shamika Michelle, both of those women were conceived during rape, and they are phenomenal women. Phenomenal women. And those stories don't often get told. But what Marco is saying is that the bills that I can support, the bills that are brought, I can support those bans, and they do have those exceptions. But now what Val is trying to say is that, you're supporting no exceptions, which is not true. It's just not true. And then so let's look at what the bill that she did support, let's look at exactly what it said, because she lied to Floridians. Val Demings lied to Floridians, and that's what you need to know. Let's look at what it said. It says, this, it's the women. So this is equal access to abortion everywhere. What kinds of state restrictions would the Women's Health Protection Act protect against? Abortion access will be protected from bans and medically unnecessary restrictions that do not apply to other similar healthcare procedures. These restrictions include 6-week bans, 20-week bans, mandatory ultrasounds, bias counseling, waiting periods, and requirements that providers obtain admitting privileges at local hospitals. So she said, well, I supported up until the point of viability. Okay, well, what is viability? That is a very vague term, because if the life is uninterrupted, it is viable. Do you see what I'm saying? If that child's life is not aborted, it is viable. So that doesn't mean anything. It's just another thing that sounds good. Okay, well, she's not that radical. No, but what it is saying, that's 20 weeks. That is a 5-month-old. That child is kicking and moving. That is radical. That is radical. We have got to stop being swayed by these little sound bites that people say and really take the time to dig and know what these candidates are. Stop relying it just because they're Black and a Democrat. That's not enough. That is not enough for you to put these people in office to let them govern what laws will affect your life. This woman is crazy. 5 months old. Are you really okay with that? Greg, I supported Kathy Barnett over Dr. Oz. I did too. I don't know what that was all about. Greg, I'm with you on that one. I don't know what that was all about. And Carrie, Crist, and Val is going to lose, even with all the money the DNC has spent on her. I hope she does. I really do. I hope she does, because I don't want anybody like that to make laws. I don't want a leader like that. I don't. I really don't. No, I don't. And she needs to tell the truth. I wish there was a requirement for them to tell the truth and to have to explain what they really mean, because they are so good. These politicians are so good at doing these little sound bites to make it seem like one thing and it's totally something else. Well, I supported up until viability. Well, the life was viable, until you ended it. So these words, they don't mean anything. They do not mean anything to these people. But these are our lives. It means something to us. The law, when they go and we put them in office, their decisions affect our lives. And they take it as a joke. They take these serious situations and they make it a joke. Sean Hannity really screwed Kathy Barnett. I was so pissed at him for how he was against Kathy Barnett. That's what Greg. Yeah, I know. I saw the whole thing. I was watching that and I tweeted about it. I was just, and not for nothing. But Oz was one of the first supporters of trans kids. So, I mean, he's in there now and it is what it is. But that's what I'm saying. It's like there should be a rule or requirement for these people to have to tell the truth, because they just can get up there and say whatever they want and just not be held accountable. And the last point that I wanted to bring up is, again, I want y'all to see what these Democrats actually think about Black voters. I showed you how Stacey Abrams did it, and you're going to watch Val Demings do it too. Let me show y'all this. Let's see. This is, here we go.
Independent voters are at least somewhat comfortable in voting for a candidate who says they don't accept the results of the 2020 election. Will you accept results of the 2022 election?
Let me start here, if I may. My mother, the maid and a janitor, worked long, hard days, but I can never remember a time they did not vote. If our car wasn't working, they would pay somebody a couple of dollars to take them to the polls. Why on earth would we try to stop them from voting? They were able to vote because of our democracy, the wonderful system of government that we have. No, it is not perfect. But our system of government is what allows us to be here tonight. We have to do everything within our power to uphold the Constitution, protect the rule of law, and protect our democracy, and protect each person's, Republican, Democrats, and independents, right to vote. That's what I did as a police officer and a police chief. I took an oath that I would protect and serve, defend the Constitution, not just for people who looked like me or the richest of the rich, but for all people.
All right, Congressman, next time, the same question goes to Senator Rubio.
Yeah, first of all, I don't know who the rich are, because my dad was a bartender at Banquets and my mom was a janitor, so we have that in common. And I will tell you this much. I've never denied an election, ever. I've never said an election. I'm not like Stacey Abrams in Georgia and denied her election. I've never denied an election. I think in Florida, we have great election laws, but I think elections have to have rules. And Congresswoman Deming supported this effort to have a federal takeover of elections. What would that look like? You can't ask for ID. You have to ask for ID to get into her neighborhood where she lives, and then you have every right to have that. But you can't ask for it when they vote. Allowing people to drive around with a trunk full of absentee ballots. Allowing people to basically register on an hour before the same day of the election, show up and vote and inject chaos. We have to have rules and we have to have laws. And those laws have to be followed. Florida has good election laws. And we have record turnout, like they had record turnout in Georgia, which they were out there calling some sort of segregationist Jim Crow bill. No, these are rules. These are rules that allow people to have confidence that their vote counted and their vote mattered. They're not just suppressing anyone's vote. They are rules designed to make sure the system works the way it's supposed to.
Let me just get you on record here that you will support the results of the 2022 election.
We have great laws in Florida, absolutely.
So will you?
Sure, because I'm going to run. I look forward to supporting that. But yes, no matter what the outcome is, I'll support it because Florida has good laws. They're not
fair enough.
laws
Let's
like
move on to the
they
next
have
question.
in these other places.
I want to go to Vicky Sacheri from Florida Trends Magazine.
I don't think we gave.
Again, Greg says, let's see, Dave says, Democrats have been brainwashing your kids for many years. That's why nowadays you don't have common sense. Well, yeah, that's true. Let's see. Yeah, Val, well, you obviously forgot how you're supposed to support the Second Amendment. That's also part of the Bill of Rights. Remember? Yeah, I thought about that too, Greg, when she was like, I'm going to support the Constitution. Yeah, well, in the debate too, she goes on to say that she basically she's saying that she does not believe in the Second Amendment. So full of garbage. But again, this idea that, you know, when she says people that don't look like you or the people of the rich, you know, whatever. So basically, again, Black people, poor people don't know how to get an ID, can't get access to vote. That's like the little zinger, you know, supposedly that they want to say is that if you're Black, Hispanic, or poor, you can't vote. This is not. These are the kind of things that really, really bother me because it shows just how little they think about you. Just how little they think about you because they know all they have to do is throw race out there against saying that there's racism against Black people, and it triggers Black people to, you know, go into this thing where it's like, oh my God, all, you know, the racists are coming out. And it's like, but I do think Black people are waking up, thank God. And it's insulting. It is just so insulting that that's all they have to say. That's all they have to say. And I just hate it. I hate it because it really says that they really don't think anything about you. And studies have shown too that Democrats, when they're talking to Black people, they alter their speech. They don't use, you know, the words that they would typically use when they're talking to other folks. I mean, they really do think that somehow because you have higher levels of melanin, it like affects your brain where you can't think. If that is not the most racist thing, I don't know what is. Exactly. They're constantly race hustling. Anyway, make sure you guys like this video. Please share and subscribe to my channel. This has been fun. I think I'm going to start doing more live videos because it actually kind of makes it a little bit easier because there's so many things that I want to talk about like throughout the week and I see, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to record it. And, you know, it's just, you know, with my traveling and all that, it just kind of gets tough, but I can do live and that's actually a lot easier. So let me guys know what you think. Well, we've had a very healthy discussion here in the comments. So thank you for that. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.